myself. Hello and welcome. Yes, I found that mute button today. We do also have a guest joining us. If he would like to go ahead and say hello, Zell.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to NumbedSkull's crazy fucking game. I love this shit. I discovered you a couple weeks ago, and I got a feeling you got some questions for me, and then you're gonna trigger me a little bit, and then I'll run away.
We'll see how the triggering goes. Questions, some of them are comments. We'll see. It's
Okay.
usually fun, and our
we made sure to go through them and get rid of all the ones that insult me, though.
If I went ahead and told everybody that, then the randomness is gone.
That's true. That's a surprise.
All right. So, our audience today should notice a few very, very minor changes. Been going through just kind of resizing, shaping. I actually gave Zell a little name tag on his podium today. I've been meaning to do something like that, so I went through and created something. And I'm advertising for the proper villains up here in the upper right-hand corner background of our screen. Other than that, no real huge changes.
Cool.
Just some little stuff here and there. And just to make sure yours popped out for you, Zell, I put your icon over top of the villains, because without it, it looks really shady, I tell you what.
Right?
You kind of disappear, so during the show, I can actually make your head bob on the poster.
Oh, this is cool. How do you guys not love this? This is great. and it's you know, you don't need anybody else either, because I am the most popular of the proper villains, so it's alright, guys. It's downhill from here.
Alright, let's get this board rolling if I can remember how to do that part of this show. Welcome to the Great Debate. Lo-Fi, you can have a name tag when you come back on. I added it as a new permanent addition to the podiums. It's
no,
not
she doesn't get one now. Now that she
Zell.
complained. It's just for me. It's just for me.
Welcome, Top Cack. How you doing? I can see some chats pop up in some areas and some pop up in others. You guys gotta know I have way too many screens open for me to actually know how to do what I'm doing. But there's another.
You're not sticking to top chat, right?
Believe it or not, I have 4 chat windows open, so thank you for reminding me to put the Yahoo one on live chat. But all the rest of them don't go by the
yikes.
The YouTube standards. Yahoo. I said Yahoo. That was an accident. I've got 2 bots. They do not abide by the YouTube top chat, live chat standard. They show everything, so I see everything, and the audience will always see everything on the screen. With that,
good, man. All
right. Would you like to get our show rolling today and get a topic selected to start with?
I would. You know, I'm very scared and frail as an individual, so I'm going to go with easy. Let's do, can we start with video games?
Saki, thank you. Thank you, Saki. Adding in the extra pictures. Apparently everything I'm playing with as I keep adding in little features seems to keep working. Video games. Does video gaming and computer use have an adverse effect on users' sleep and eating compared to television? So these are 2 separate. Does it have an adverse effect on their eating and sleep? And compare it to television. How do you think it comes out?
I'd say it's probably... Video games are probably worse on that. Absolutely, they affect your sleeping and eating. It's just how much are you going to allow that to happen? And then there's the video game addicts that they fucking die on their chairs because they get blood clots in their thighs. I'd say at least with television, it's a little easier to, whether it's by accident or not, fall asleep to it. With video gaming, a little more difficult. I've done that thing, though, where I've had the controller in my hand and then like I've hovered in and out of consciousness and still played a game and then wondered how the fuck I beat the level.
I'm with you. I've done that. I've done that too.
Right?
You're sitting there in the middle
I
of a
beat like a
fighting
whole
game
section.
and you wake up to KO. What? Whoa, whoa. What did I?
I beat
That's
a
how
whole
you know you've
section
been
of Metal
playing
Gear
too
Solid
long.
one time. I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2. And then like I just remember going like, how the fuck did I get past that? That part's hard.
You had done it so many times, you can literally do it in your sleep. That's an accomplishment.
That's true. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but yeah.
I don't know how many times I felt myself sitting in a chair in one of those parts of a game. You're like, this is the 38th time I've done this. I'm getting through it this time. And all of a sudden, your eyes, you can feel them not blinking. You can feel them turning dry. And then all of a sudden, the tears are rolling down your face. But you're not moving. You're not flinching. You're not blinking. You're getting through that section of the game. And as soon as it's done, it's like, oh, damn, my adrenaline's running. I need to go have a cigarette.
Yeah, I had that experience with, I will say, the hardest game I ever completed on the hardest difficulty, for me personally, was the first Modern Warfare. The first Modern Warfare, because like I don't game all the time, but like sometimes I'll have like periods of like a month where I just nonstop try to beat a game.
Yeah.
I would say like I had to take a 6-month break from the first Modern Warfare because I wanted to murder that game, because I wanted to complete every single level on Veteran. That shit's fucking hard.
You
A
know
lot
what
of people
I did?
forget.
It was the second Modern Warfare that I decided at one point I was so close to getting all of the achievements and all, just 100%ing the game. So
Yeah.
close that I literally just sat there for days on end replaying and replaying and replaying the last of the game to finish it off. And when I got done, I never have played it since. I look at that 100% and it stays there and I don't touch the game.
See, like for me, after the first Modern Warfare, the Call of Duty started to get like pretty easy. I could like best most of them in Veteran, but that first Modern Warfare, man, a lot of people forget. Jesus Christ, fuck that game.
Yeah, I didn't play the first one through. I think I borrowed it for a few days off of somebody and was
If
like, yeah,
if
it's
Modern
good.
Warfare 2 almost drove you crazy, then don't bother.
Yeah.
You'll scream and break your controller, all that good stuff.
There's very few games I've gotten so into that I will not sleep for days on end just to finish the game, just to say it's done. I'm never touching it again. I've done everything the game has. Put it the fuck away. But some games are just that good, and you get so pissed and you get so driven to get through it that, you get through it, and then you're just like, fuck, no, I'm not doing that again. I'm done.
Okay, so I'm calling out Lo-Fi.
Uh-oh, what did I miss?
Lo-Fi says in the chat, what the fuck you talking about, Zell? The only hard part in that game is when you are sneaking through the grass. Lo-Fi, you did not beat the first Modern Warfare on Veteran, because if you did, you would know that part is a cakewalk compared to the fucking insanity that ensues later on in the Chernobyl level.
I love the playthroughs on Call of Duty, but you're right. Some of the newer ones did get a little easier on the playthrough, and I really don't like Infinite Warfare, to be honest. I just got a bad feeling when I started playing the game. It's just got too crazy. Not crazy, my disbelief suspension was lost, and the game just...
Yeah, I like I'm a fan of the Modern Warfare series, and then the Black Ops series I'm kind of meh on. Like, I go up and down on that series. That's about it for me for Call of
Yeah.
Duty. Like, I just kind of, those two series are fine for me.
The Black Ops is a good time filler game as for Call of Duties. It's a good one. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
I got an hour and a half. That's like 3 matches, right? Yeah, I can sit down for 2 or 3 matches, and then you're done.
And Black Ops 2 campaign was genuinely, it was a lot of fun. It introduced a lot of cool stuff where you get to equip your loadouts before you go on the mission.
Yeah.
Some cool stuff.
But again, I think you're right. I thought this was one that I had little things in the after one. Television is one of those things that most people put off as white noise. Video games are one of those people that people get intently driven to play. You kind of breezed across the blood clots and blood flow issues, as well as in 2015 or 2016, a study came out saying most people are developing neck sprains and issues due to looking down at your phone most of the time. So let it be known that interactive digital devices tend to keep somebody up for 60 to 180 minutes past their regular use. Some doctors recommend you put down digital media, sometimes including television, for up to 30 to 60 minutes before trying to get some sleep because your brain won't wind down. World War II sucks and not even to... Yeah. World War II was the third one, wasn't it?
What's up?
World War II was the third Call of Duty, wasn't it?
No, World War II is the newest one.
Is it? I haven't played the new ones. Not in the last couple of years. Alright, back at this board. Back at this wonderful looking board.
Okay, let's do movies. Movies for 20, Alex?
Plenty of YouTubers have the ability to create a video or short film. Will longer YouTube videos become a thing? Perhaps 40 to 60 minute features.
Nope.
You don't see it?
Nope. Yeah, I don't see it. I see streams, and then I see shorter, more analysis-driven videos. Like we were talking about video games earlier. I don't know if you know a gentleman by the name of The Act Man. I've been a fan of his for years.
No.
He does. Oh, you should go subscribe. He's great. He does He does analysis videos on video games and video game culture. Chris Ray Gunn recently featured him because you know how Chris Ray Gunn, in every one of his videos, he has somebody else playing Paul the llama.
I've watched only a couple of Chris Ray Gunn's videos. He's somewhere in my subscription feed, but I don't think he's near the top anymore.
Well, recently the Act Man voiced Paul the llama in Chris Ray Gunn's latest video. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, the guy does some cool analysis videos. I dig that. Aside from that, just streaming. I mean, unless YouTube is going to go the way of Netflix, I do see a future in smaller movies now getting dumped on streaming services. But as far as like big 40 to 60 minute features, I think that's the worst. I think that's the worst area to be in with your videos because it's not short enough to be consumed sort of on the go, and it's not long enough for me to want to invest like I would in a film. I think it's actually I don't know. It's a very bad time frame.
The issue with some people is you don't always have time to watch a 2-hour movie, and most feature-length movies are between 90 and 120 minutes. Most. On the internet, though, if you start to look at small created films, I know I have Blender, and I occasionally keep trying to mess with building my skeleton. It's a long, hard struggle to make a skeleton for the NumbedSkull. I come across Blender videos that people are making on a regular basis, and these tend to be anywhere from like 24 to 36, 38 minutes long, most of them. A few of them are literally only 5 to 7 minutes long, and these are animated skits that somebody put together. These are like cartoon-driven things, and some of these are like really good quality films. Yeah. But to create something like that takes days, weeks. The longer you make it, the more stuff you put in it, the longer it takes to trim and cut and, get that finished product out of it. You see a lot of people going for streaming, but streaming is going to find and hold a niche, and not everybody's going to be looking for something going on live, or they could be, tuning into analog television still. So
I don't know. Let me sort of amend my answer or perspective on this. Um, I'll just say short videos, like little bite videos that are uploaded, edited. I'm talking videos that are between,
10 and 20.
2 to 8 minutes long.
Oh, you're talking the
I would
little
say
snippets.
yeah, like the 2 to 8 minute long videos. Um, they're dying. They'll be dead. I would say the 40 to 60 minute might be a bit much, but I will kind of amend my answer and say, like, yeah, longer form videos are more in. I really got to respect that creator and their insight to want to click on it. So it's like any other market. People are allowed now on YouTube to be a lot more picky. I'm allowed to be a lot more picky. And so, for example, like, do you know a creator by the name of Pyrocynical?
I've heard the name. I don't know if I'm subscribed yet. My subscription list is awfully long because I check out a lot of people.
Yeah. He did like a month or so back. He did an hour long video that was an analysis on the video game. Fuck, what's it called? Criminal something Origins. Fuck. Damn it, I forgot the fucking name of it. Someone in the chat will correct me and say it. But yeah, he did an hour long video on this video game. There's there's very few creators where I'm gonna click on that fucking video, but because I like Pyro's introspection so much, I gave him an hour of my time, and it was a great video. So I mean, maybe there is something to this. I would say longer form videos are the way of the future, but we're gonna be able to be way more picky about them. And short little snippet videos, I mean, just you might as well slap something on Twitter, or Facebook. I think those are dying on YouTube.
I I click on the short videos a lot. I try to look for the 11 to 15, I would say, are probably the ideal video lengths that I look for to watch. Like when I'm going for a walk and I'm looking for something to listen to when I'm trying to do something. I put the streams on when I'm like vacuuming and washing dishes and things. But I do go back and look for videos, and sometimes I just want to look for something that fits in a time slot. So yeah, well, it could be hard to kind of narrow down the span of time that may be that may end up growing on YouTube. I think that people are going to this is what I see from my perspective as somebody trying to create. I'm trying to create something original. And something that you don't see out there right now is original films with people putting together a video that's on average a little longer than the average half-hour show. But I'm not talking about the stand there and argue and chat and discuss over 9mm guns or how you do or don't agree with somebody's opinion or field. I'm talking people might start actually putting together shows with a plot and a premise and an ideal to get through, and then posting those because they may think, this was my thought process in this, that YouTube is going to be looking for something that its customers are going to want, and that's going to be content in the end. And new content gets looked at, so people are going to drive to where the new content is to produce that type. We've seen the response videos, we've seen the 10-minute videos, the 20-minute videos, the 30-minute videos, we've seen cuts of things coming in from other movies, and obviously we see our full feature-length films out in Hollywood, but we don't see anything in the 40 to 60-minute area, partly because of what you said. It is an awkward time frame to try and use. I think Lo-Fi also said that in there too.
Yeah, I would say I would say nowadays what it's all about is with streaming is the big thing right now, because streaming is solely about sell me on your personality, sell me on who you are. That's all you're going to be able to bring to the table on streaming, and any flaws in your personality will come out fairly quickly in a fucking stream. And so a lot of people are attracted to that because we're tired of being fooled by what we think are genuine personalities. Now, if you're going to sell me, if you're going to layer things on top of that personality, in other words, if you're going to edit something and build some sort of illusion, then when it comes to that, I I think I feel like most people when I say like, then I just I it better be damn good quality, and then it's to me it's quality over quantity in that on that point. Like for example, like again, I won't watch like Andy Worski's a great example. He he's recently like uploaded some edited videos again, like updates on Patreon or some shit. With Andy Worski, I probably won't watch any of his uploaded videos anymore. I just stick to the guy's streams. He could sell me his personality. I like that. But when he tries to layer shit on top of his personality and build an illusion in an edited video, it's not, the quality isn't high enough for me. I'm very
Right.
picky on that regard. But every single goddamn JonTron video that's released, I will watch over and over again. That's my quality right there.
Right.
You know, and that guy doesn't do streams, but his quality's high enough to where I'm like, it's worth my time. Like Red Letter Media is another great example. Every time they release something.
I agree with you there. I stopped making videos because I couldn't see the point in it. But I started making a few here and there where I thought the quality of what I was trying to put out was worth me trying to put it in a video. And as for everything else, I make it clear in my name and when I talk to people. I'm not highly intelligent. I know a little bit about a lot of different shit, and that allows me to think about things differently than some other people. And that's kind of just how I came up with this. You know, it's perspective, and that's how people are going to come up with new ideas, is their perspective on how they see things. Ralph Movie Makers, they spend time to make it amazing. Zell, which makes me want to watch. Lo-Fi being very active in the chat down there, seeming to have fun today. I'm sure she's also enjoying the picture in the background. All right. Here we are back at that wonderful board again. I really don't like this blue anymore, so I think that's going away. But let's not worry about the color. Let's worry about the topic. What should be next?
Well, let me slide over to general. So let's see here. God, I guess what the fuck or for the win.
The elimination of government-sponsored programs to support the needy and lazy would create a stimulation or a downfall of society.
Wow. Can I just say what the fuck and that's my answer?
All right.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
This is... I was watching the CNN clips and the Fox
loaded
clips
question, man.
And all of
Not
that.
saying I'm not going to answer it, but I got to think.
It's one of those where you just got to kind of throw it out there and just go with it. There's a lot of people sitting on medical and government payments, and our national debt has just... Oh, now I remember what I was watching. I was watching the Dire Wolf Media did a cut from his Saturday stream, and I was watching the cut, and it was about the government spending, government funding, and the national debt. And my thought question was, well, if we have to eliminate programs to pay down the national debt to increase our viability as a country, then we're going to have to lose programs. So if we lose programs, what goes first? Well, national Medicare, or national medical coverage and national food stamps, national... or state-by-state and national payouts for people who don't work. If you haven't put in, you don't get nothing out. And that would have to be the way. So, what would happen?
Well, I would say, first off, I could be a total asshole right here and interpret the question literally and say the elimination of government-sponsored programs to support the needy and lazy would create a stimulation or a downfall of society. Well, if you eliminated sponsored programs that support the needy and lazy, then you just created a stimulation. But if you're talking about the argument is, and I know what the question is really trying to ask. The argument is, if you eliminate certain programs that you think are just there to support needy and lazy people, you might be harming some people that genuinely need it. I mean,
Absolutely.
right? Isn't that the back and
Yes.
forth?
No matter what you do, when you do something good for one person, you're inevitably harming somebody else because you're taking money away from somebody else to help somebody. Or if you take the program away to help that person, you're helping the person you were taking the money away from by not taking as much money, but you're not helping the person who didn't have anything.
I would say, easy answer coming from a pleb who knows almost nothing about economics. Easy answer would be, um, if you're going to eliminate that stuff and not replace it with better ideas as far as government sponsored programs, you won't have a downfall of society. Absolutely not. You're not going to have a downfall, but you're going to have a lot of hurt people, and you're probably going to have a lot of mad people. Oh no, over time that might get a little worse. So yeah, I would say eliminate them, but only because they suck ass, and replace them with something better.
Absolutely. If there is something better. In my mind, and granted, I have been on these systems before. So I know what it's like to have to go in and apply for emergency food stamps because you got a kid at home and you want to make sure there's food. I know what it's like to, have to bow down and wait in line for 4 hours to ask for health care because you lost your job. I know what this stuff is like and I understand why it's there.
Yeah.
The recession that we went through in the early 1900s really did hurt the country. So what they did is they added in a few socialist style care programs to our nation to allow for the people who weren't able to take care of themselves to have a little help to keep from, being the downfall of our society.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what your feelings on socialism or capitalism are. I don't really care. I like free market, but I like a free market where in that system of free markets, there's also a real incentive to play the game that is the free market. And the issue that we're running into right now, and that a lot of, um, I guess, extreme capitalists or people who are far, far right, the issue we're having now is they're not acknowledging that there's millions of people in this country that are born and they have absolutely no hope in playing that game. They have no help or no leg up so that they can actually start playing the game. Because once you get people into the game and they can play it, usually they're pretty all right. Usually they're pretty realistic, and usually they're pretty okay with success and failure as long as they're playing the damn game. But there's so many people that are fucked as far as being able to play that game, that no wonder we have the bubbles of crime that we do, and no wonder we have the people, especially younger kids, who just get that whole fuck it spirit in them and then go shooting people because they don't see any hope for them to be playing the damn game. So I mean, I think our socialist programs right now suck ass. I think we need to get rid of them though, but not without replacing them with something better.
Mm,
Like I'm not someone who's completely adverse to the idea of universal income, giving somebody that leg up so they can play the goddamn game. Because until you know what that feels like, it's pretty insulting when people just talk about like, oh, go work at McDonald's, you'll be fine. There's
that's
there's neighborhoods and families that you could be born into and under, where maybe McDonald's is the rest of your life because you had zero chance at playing that fucking game like everyone and so many others were overqualified to play it. So there's my long ass answer.
and every bit of it is understandable too. I just again, everybody has their own viewpoints. Some people their abilities match their outcomes. Some people really can't do much more than McDonald's in some cases. So really hard topic. It shouldn't have been on the general, but it is the topic category for shit going wrong.
That's alright.
What's next? Everybody is trying so hard to push you to one little corner of the board. It's up to you, though.
I'm sorry, everyone's what?
Everybody's trying to push you down to one corner of the board. They're all screaming at you in capital letters.
I know. I saw that. Like, everyone is so obsessed with me picking the internet, and I don't know why, but we'll go with it.
All right, the internet it is. The internet offers wonderfully good and bad thoughts, videos, and more. Is that good or bad for the world?
Oh, Christ. uh, some of your questions are just so fucking loaded. Like, I need to go write an essay right now.
They're so open in
so
general.
Yeah, they're very open.
See, but the point of them being like this is you're going to look at it and you're going, oh my God, this is loaded because my mind is loaded with how I'm going to approach this. But somebody else is looking at it exactly the same with a whole different point of view. And that's why the question's so good.
Okay. The internet offers good shit and bad shit. Again, see, here I could be an asshole. It's laid out very, very plainly in the question. The internet offers good shit and bad shit. Is that good or bad for the world? Is good and bad for the world, right? There's both, right?
Yeah.
That's the asshole answer. That's the short answer.
So you see what you see on the internet. Obviously, there's porn going all the way down to skin breaking and blood. And there's YouTube videos, which used to include everything up to decapitation. All the way, roughly, including dead bodies. And
this gets into having to explain why free speech is so good.
And then you get into the YouTube videos.
You got to tackle that.
Right. But then you get to the YouTube videos that are like a minute and a half, and it's a rose blooming over the period of a week and a half, and it's just speed framed through to look wonderful. So you get the good and you get the bad. So I guess the big question is, with this ability to contact so much of a variety of information, and everybody being able to be exposed to all of this information.
Yeah, let me sort of articulate. I don't want to say it's a badly formed question, but I will call into question the question. But let me articulate this real quick. So if you don't keep your kid indoors for their whole life, and you let them go outside to ride a bicycle, to go out there and experience the world, and that kid hits a pebble in the road and falls over off their bicycle, they're hurt now. So it was bad for you to let them go ride their bicycle and be free? They're hurt now. Isn't that bad then?
I'm going to rebuttal a clip that I had with Gutenberg that says more kids need brain damage.
Oh God, I don't know about that. There's plenty with that.
What's funny is it came from the same conversation as getting into an accident on a bicycle.
That's just one analogy, but in that analogy, deconstruct that scenario and think to yourself, okay, so did we establish that what the mother or father did by allowing their kid to go out and ride a bicycle, was that in and of itself an evil or good thing? Anyone with a brain going over that scenario would instantly come to the conclusion, oh, it was a good thing. That's just a harsh world, but that was a good thing that the parent did, because it's one of the only best things that you can do in that scenario.
Right.
And then we get to another scenario. Say there's somebody that's talking with somebody else about some very controversial things, and let's say this person wants to explore the idea of the ethno-state and discuss that because they're having issues with it, but they want to talk about it because from the outside looking in, they can't poke holes in it. but there's something bothering them about it, and they want to talk about it. Now, is the ethno-state a good thing? Is it a good idea? No, it's a terrible idea. You're a moron. It would end in violence and blah, 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 blah. You can use a lot of things as an example, too. If some of the people in the chat are like, I love the ethno-state. Well, then think of something bad, okay? But either way, the ethno-state is bad, but is allowing that person the freedom to go to very scary or uncomfortable places mentally. Is allowing them to do that. Is that the evil thing? Allowing them to.
No, that's the absolute right thing. So I want you to think about.
Very good point.
I want you to think about the structure of your logic there.
Exactly.
Exposure is good.
When it comes to the internet, well, not maybe, yeah. I guess you can simplify it like that. But what I'm saying is, with the internet, there's good shit and bad shit on it. So does that make things worse for the world or better for the world? And I think through my two scenarios, my two little thought experiments, you can conclude, well, it's good for the world. Allow them to go there. Allow them to be very uncomfortable. The things that are bad on the internet, are they bad? Yes. But there's another act of evil that you can commit on top of bad things being in the world. The other act of evil is not allowing people to experience those evil things, or at least entertaining them. Like, for example, falling off the bike, or, for example, entertaining really scary ideas. Not allowing people to do that or punishing them for that. It's just adding one evil on top of another evil, but instead, now it's an evil act. Now you have intervened on top of the world already being shitty and scary. So there's your answer. It's good for the world.
That got deep quick, didn't it? It is good for the world. And this kind of goes back to a different type of argument. This is a totally different reword and rephrase of... Oh, what was the argument I was originally thinking? It's... if you don't see something, you don't know it's there. The ignorance is bliss argument. In the real back end, it's ignorance is bliss. Once you're exposed to something, you realize it's there. You realize how good or bad it is. But if you don't know it's there, you don't know it's there, you can't make a decision. Really, really internet-y question. Here we are. How many have we done? We've done 4. Here it is at 2:40. So how are you liking this?
I dig this, but my main concern is for the fans, you know.
Well, most of my guests are usual viewers or a viewer at one time. So the guests and the fans.
No, I'm just hoping they're having a good time.
I'm hoping they're loving it, even if they don't like what we're saying. Though I know they're enjoying the bot because they're pissing them off here and there. Oh! They robbed a bank. We do have some villains in the chat. They robbed the bank. The Reaper and Lo-Fi robbed a bank.
Reaper ain't no villain.
He's, I guess he's earning his points.
Reaper, if you're going around saying you're a villain...
Maybe he's an accomplice.
Everyone shame him.
He's an accomplice?
He's a henchman.
He's a henchman. Ah, okay. All right. Well, at least the rob was successful. The next bank is bigger. Remember that? There's 4 banks. All right.
There's just 4 banks in the world.
there's 4 banks in my chat room. I don't know which one they robbed.
Oh, okay.
But they made off with a bit, didn't they? 325 and 390 bones, huh?
Oh, boy. So I think we're going to move on to hot, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's all up to you.
All right. Well, I know nobody wants me to select it, but I'm gonna do what I want to do anyway. So I'll choose sex.
Dun, 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 dun. Does the size of a penis really matter? Does the size or looseness of a vagina then also matter?
This should have been put in easy. Yes.
I think a couple categories are going to get moved around here because questions are changing as time goes.
Yes. Yes, it matters. And even when it doesn't matter, that meant it mattered. Like, for example, if a girl's like, I've heard plenty of girls say like, "Oh, I don't really care about the size," and I'm like, "Okay, so is 2 inches cool for you?" Ew. I'm like, "Yeah, size matters. You want something." Jesus Christ.
So apparently, the average American male is something like 5 3/4 to 6 1/4 inches. And the average Chinese male
It's
is like 3 7/8 or something.
I don't know if it's that small for Asians, but
that one I was
yeah,
just throwing in there. That's not an actual fact.
The average is like 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere. Pardon me, in the high fives, around 6. So,
but yeah, it matters. It's just to what degree. There's some vajayjays that I've plowed where I'm like, I don't like this. I don't want to do this ever again. Where it's just like a cavern, and it don't feel right.
there is that.
So same goes for guys too. There was I had one ex where I was okay. What's that thing called that they put in there for birth control? It's like stuck in the vajayjay.
Oh,
Fucking,
the
I
T
forget what
something.
it's fucking called. I forget what it's fucking called. The chat will tell us. But I had this ex-girlfriend of mine where I would reach that. Like,
Oh,
I
the
would
cervical
pretty
cap.
much. Yeah. I would pretty much almost like reach the end of her vajayjay, and she had a tiny one, and it just felt weird.
Yeah.
It was pretty weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
when you're touching something on the other end, you've gone a little far.
Yeah, when you're like literally hitting a wall, like I like the tightness on the sides, but I don't want to hit a wall either. And that was a little weird, especially when she was on top.
Yeah.
Just like you're getting that mushroom head tickled. You know what I'm saying?
Just so you know, some guys got to deal with that feeling all the time.
Yeah, there's some guys like the fuck, who's that rock star? The one that fucked up Pamela Anderson.
I don't know. I don't keep up with rock stars. I did have a picture of Pamela Anderson somewhere when I was young.
He's famous for his giant dick. Like, it's supposed to be massive. And it's like, guys like that, I'm sure they have a blast, but like, they're never gonna know what it's like to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Every vagina they encounter, they just wreck it no matter what.
See, now I couldn't imagine being that. I get that at that point. It's not even well endowed anymore. It's just that fucked up.
It's a beast. But some girls like that too. Some girls just like it. They want the guys with the giant beasts under their pants that are just gonna ruin their vaginas. They love that shit. There's some girls that just love that.
Yeah, there are.
And to each their own, man. I mean, I know I have a backup option. If by the age of 35 I'm not married, Brockus and I are just gonna get hitched, and I'm gonna turn gay. So I got my backup option.
I should be set. I'm married. I'm good.
Tommy Lee, I think that's his name. Tommy Lee. Thank you, Saki.
Oh, well, as everybody knows, this one can always go in different directions. I don't know what to say that's not either dirty or just TMI.
That's pretty much it, though. We can move on to the next.
Yeah, I think that's it. Anybody got anything else? Yeah. Nope. Good. We're done.
Let's move on to the next so thing.
Yes, the mouth and the vag are in the ass.
Fucking A. Oh man, let's do LGBTQ plus alphabets. This will be fun. I'm gonna lose a lot of fans.
Yeah, I think I have already. When the topic of LGBT comes up, there are so many facets of the group, it gets hard to discuss. Being that the group consists of loosely 4% of the population, Is it worth discussing?
Oh, that was a lot easier than I thought it'd be. Yeah, it's worth discussing. Um, as far as their LGBTQ shit, like I hate that shit. I there's only like one or two gay people I know where they don't care that I just group them as gay. Because like one of my problems is like I don't like to say LGBTQ whatever. I just say gay. You're gay. Yeah, but I'm bi and I'm okay. So you're gay. You're just like kind of gay. Like I don't care. You're just gay. As long as I can identify that you're not heterosexual, then that works for me. And then they get upset because that doesn't work for them. Oh no, that doesn't work for them. Well, you know what doesn't work for me? Calling me cis. That isn't gonna stop anytime soon. So you're gay, or you're kind of gay, or you're really, really gay.
I've noticed the
But
upswing on the
but I've
cis
got like I'm
terminology has
surprised like
slowed down.
thankfully, but like I can't count how many fights I've gotten into with gay people. They're really upset that I just want to call them gay. Especially, you know what's worse? I like gay people more than bi people. Jesus Christ, the bisexuals, and it's not all of them, but there's too many bisexuals out there that give other bisexuals a bad name because they're so fucking pompous. Like
You give
I'll just be like
by a bad name.
like I'll just be like, do you touch pee pee? Do you like pee pee? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, you're gay. No, but sometimes like I like women too, and I'm like, yeah, okay, then you're kind of gay. No, it's bisexual, blah blah. I'm like, why do you care about like? They're so fucking pompous and pretentious. It's like, no, call me this thing. And then there's always the argument too of like, well, if you think about it, everyone's bisexual. It's just to what degree? And I'm like, yeah, your degree is suck 10 dicks a night. I can start to like I can identify that you're different than me at that point. How about we do that? How about we do that so that I know when we go out clubbing, I know that you're looking at bulges and pants while I'm looking at tits. How about we just do that? It's just so fucking like, oh my god, it's all fifis, it's all feelings, and I love rational gay people. They're the best, man. They're the best. I don't
Because
give
they
a fuck
realize
about
where
them.
they
They're the
fit
best.
in.
Yeah, I love them. But then like I mostly get in fights with bisexual people who refer to them as bisexual. I mostly get in fights with them, but I just don't fucking care. And I'm just like, why do you care? I'm like, what do you want to call me? Sis? Well, I want to call you kind of gay. That's what I want to call you. Well, that hurts my feelings and then my identity. If your identity relies on me calling you something else so that you think I'm aware of how much dick you put in your mouth. If that's what your identity relies on, you got some fucking issues. You need help. I've never discounted the fact that like throughout my whole life, I've had moments where I can appreciate guys' looks. I can get a little gay. Like as far as just appreciating how hot a dude is, like I can get a little gay. But
Then there's the
my
accidental
my gay,
moments.
my gayness stops though the moment someone pulls out a pee-pee. I'm like, I don't want it. Get it away from me. You're fucking sick. That's gross. That's grody. Get it away.
Yeah.
That's where mine stops. If someone who's really gay wants to call me a little gay, I'll be like, okay. Like what? Like hetero guys don't get insulted. We don't get insulted. We're like, okay, call me whatever you want. I still want. Do you have boobies and a vagina around? I really need to get laid. Like we don't get fucking insulted. It's just I can't stand the like. I'm so insulted because and then you know what's the worst is
You get a little embarrassed though sometimes because I was driving down the road once and there was a person with noticeably straight, nice looking, long hair, tight jeans, and a tight shirt leaning into a car, and I went, damn, they look pretty good. And as I drove by, somebody turned around and looked and went, hey, you know that was a dude, right? That was gay. Oh, shit. That's a little embarrassing.
I don't get embarrassed by that. Like I'll just be like, oh shit, that was a hot dude. I've seen hot trannies. I've been like, wow, like if they didn't have a pee-pee at the end of the day, like that would be great. but they have a pee-pee, and I don't want that pee-pee. You know, I've seen trannies with like amazing tits, and I'm like, I probably would juggle those tits if I was drunk, but keep that pee-pee away from me.
Right.
And if somebody, like, dude, someone can call that whatever they want to call it. Whatever. If they want to even, like, I've had gay people, like, just because of comments like that, I've had gay people say, like, oh, you're closeted gay. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
I'll be in the closet. The rest of you stay out and leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah, just like, I'll be fine. If that's in the closet, okay. Do you have a vagina around that I can plow? Like, we don't get that insulted, but like the worst offenders are bisexual females that haven't had a dick in years. And like, if you ever run into them, try this out if you want to end the friendship. If you're just tired of the friendship and you want to end it, try this out. Call them a lesbian. Just say it. Just be like, yeah, you're gay. You're a lesbian. You're gay. You like vagina. No, I just haven't encountered it. Oh, I hate that. I just haven't encountered a dick that I want to ride in a long time. I'm like, yeah, because you like JJ. Like, you're gay.
No, I'm not. I'm
like,
normal. I just like both.
Like, if bisexual is I hop on a dick once every 5 to 10 years, if that is bisexual, then you guys are doing yourself a disservice to your own names. This is how the fuck do you quantify all this shit? Then why don't we call everything bisexual? But then guess what? The gay community would get pissed. It's like you can never please anybody.
So then you're going with the argument it's only gay if the balls touch? Or it's only gay if the balls touch, or if the peen comes
gay.
out?
Yeah, that's pretty gay.
Because isn't that Aiden Paladins? It's only gay when the balls touch because the human penis, the phallic object, is... Fuck, how did she describe that? Causes sexual desire.
Look, I don't care what you do as far as again, if we want to boil this down to a new term, I possess gayisms. What are my gayisms? I can notice when guys are hot, and I would probably touch a tranny's tits. There, that's as far as my gayisms go.
Gayisms. We'll go with that for now.
Gayisms. Everyone's got a little gayism, you know? And then we can just take all the bisexual people and we can throw them on an island and we'll be like, you guys can come back when you stop having that shard of glass up your ass.
Gayisms. On tonight's show, we will be discussing gayisms and how they affect our nation.
Oh, I'm bi. Well, when was the last time you licked a vagina? Oh, 10 years ago. You're gay.
What time is it?
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry. Pardon my soda. When's the last time you licked a vagina? What time is it?
Oh, God.
We might get one more out of here unless you want to just chit-chat for the last couple of minutes.
No, I want to select it. You know what? Give me a sec. All right. I want to defer to chat. Chat, what's the next? I'm gonna let you guys choose and feel important for like 2 fucking seconds. Tell me which one to choose. What do you guys want me to choose?
Luckily, because of the way my settings are, they're gonna know in just a moment. We got technology from Saki, and followed up by controversy from Lo-Fi. Followed up by controversy, by controversy, by controversy, by...
Lo-Fi, that's not fair.
Oh, I'm still working on figuring out how the voting section... There's a voting section
really chose
in here.
Government. Jesus Christ.
Did they? Oh, there it is. Just popped up on that screen. Lo-Fi says
I'm waiting until we have like at least 2, like a consensus of sorts.
That gets difficult sometime.
Lo-Fi, I'd love to plow you, but you're in Denmark and that makes us enemies.
We have 2.
Okay,
oh,
I'm about to go with controversy.
Controversy.
Okay, let's do it.
If abortion is supposed to be a right, should selective or known birth determinants or defects abortion
Deformities or defects.
deformities? I read my own word wrong. Abortions be allowed. Is this a pre-birth culling of the best?
All right, so if abortion is supposed to be right,
I'm reading
should
terrible
selective, known birth deformities, defects, abortions be allowed is pre-birth culling best.
now. An article came out a few days ago. Apparently, one state is trying to make it illegal, or a state or a country. Somebody's trying to make it illegal to have an abortion based on the fact that your child will be born with a deformity or a deficiency, a birth defect, or something knowingly wrong with it. If it is a right to have an abortion, shouldn't you be able to have a selective abortion, meaning abort for the reasons you need or want?
All right. Time to lose some more fans and maybe gain some weird, obscure new ones. Abortion's a right. I don't think it should be. Stop fucking killing babies unless it's threatening your life. If there's a life threatened, then these are the anomalies. These are the extremes. You know, like these are the exceptions. If there's a life threatened, if there's a rape case, things like that, this is when abortion should be entered into the conversation, right? It's just like don't kill a human being, numbskull.
Yeah.
Well, the guy was pointing a gun at me, Zell, and he was gonna kill me. Oh, okay, in that case, kill him. Like there's exceptions to like murder even. There's exceptions to these things. So I hate when people bring up the case of like, well, what about raped women? So now you don't believe in abortion for that? It's like, no, that's an exception. That's when you should start introducing abortion into the dialogue. You should not start introducing abortion in the dialogue just because you're like, man, I got to take care of it longer. It can't walk right. It's like, no, fuck off. Have the fucking baby. Otherwise, like, again, you either believe that that is a fucking life or you don't. You either believe that or you don't. And if you don't, then you start making a slippery slope argument where I could eventually convince you that we should just start shooting all Down syndrome babies that are like 2 years old in the face. Why not? Why not call them at that age? Right? Aren't they just a drain on our resources? Or do they have a right to fucking live?
Right.
And unfortunate, it's unfortunate and sad to know that your baby's gonna have problems, maybe for the rest of their lives. Yeah, welcome to Earth. Yeah, I don't know if anyone told you, but this planet sucks. It fucking sucks. And you
Yeah.
deal with it, and you respect life, and you don't put a bullet in its fucking brain or cut its life short because you're like, but I have a midterm, and this kid's gonna need crutches one day. It's like, fuck off, have the baby. Now, if you're talking about rape or harm or the baby might kill the mother in birth, start introducing abortion into your dialogue.
Right. There
So
is
there's my
also
feelings on that.
there comes a point. Some babies are known before they're to be born that they will be stillborn or they won't live very long once they're born. And you have to take a lot of different things into account when you're discussing controversy like abortion. You have to take into account the term, the conditions, any problems or health defects the mother has, any problems or health defects that the child is known to have before or along the way. And a lot of these are testable. So the ability to now be able to test for some of these has caused some people to go, well, we can test for this and this. Is there a reason we should bring a life into the world merely to suffer with this defect? So that is
Now that is
a
okay.
side
Hold on.
of the
Stop
argument.
right there. Stop right there because that is an amazing question. That is the exact question you should be asking yourself before you fuck. But when you fuck and then it happens and there's a life in you, you've gone past the expiration date on that question. You can't ask it anymore. At that point, you just have to ask, how much is this going to cost me? And how do I love this child? It's too fucking late. Too bad. It's just like the same excuse with, like, again, why can't we start calling 2-year-olds? Why can't we just rile them all up? Any parent would say, because it's too late. They're here already. All I do is go 9 months before that. I just go 9 months a little further than them. And I go, it's too fucking late.
Yeah.
You don't sit there with your master plan, pull it out while you got a fucking belly protruding out of you, and go, all right, so now let's plan for our future and kill this life. No, that's what you do before you fuck. Like, if you fucked up, you fucked up. Welcome to Earth.
So I have a question, though, just to put a line here, just to offer. Is there a point where you would say, and I know you've breezed across this generally, but if they determine that the baby is going to have a health risk that will cause it a certain amount of turmoil in its life, like some deformities literally cause lifelong pain for the child to be lucky to live till 12 or 14, is that, and this is the argument, I'm not saying which side I fall on, but
absolutely. Yeah.
The child should be given a right to live, but at the same time, when you have the option early in its conception, before it's fully formed fetus, if you could say
before it's arguably got some sort of consciousness,
right? I mean, that would have to be also set. Is there a point where you say we don't want to bring a life into the world if we know for certain this life will suffer for its entire time on the world, in this world?
You're saying, okay, so that was the question, like...
Yeah, so I'm just offering this to you at the end.
Saying?
If you realize, like, if your doctor tells you, a test comes up and says your baby will be born with this.
Mean, I've heard this one before. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. All I'll respond to you with is, like, okay, there's already, like, we can safely assume that whatever condition you want to impose on this made-up child for this thought experiment, whatever condition it is, we can assume that there's already babies in this world that are 2, 3, 4, 5 years old that probably already have that condition, right?
Right.
Would you be okay with killing them? And then if not, you got to tell me why.
I don't believe that it's any one person's right to take another person's life. However,
why? They're suffering.
If that suffering person were of an age of consent which a young child wouldn't reach, where they could make that decision based on their life experiences at a certain age, then I would allow them to commit, their own euthanasia.
Okay, yeah, now we're talking about euthanasia. That's
a
totally different
subject.
That's
where the argument comes in, is children don't have that.
Exactly, but what I was pointing out is you have the 5-year-olds in the world that have that, whatever condition you want to impose on the child that's made up for the thought experiment. Let's pretend that there's got to be tons of 5-year-olds out there with that condition, and obviously you would have an issue with if the government sanctioned, let's just start killing them because they're suffering. You'd instantly know exactly why that's wrong. Even though they're suffering, even though they're taking up money, even though they're not having the greatest of life, they probably got 5 more years in them. You instantly know exactly why that's wrong.
Right.
All you got to do is apply that with like 9 more months to be consistent. Just apply that with 9 more months to be consistent. If the doctor tells you, oh, your kid's going to have a condition and might not make it past 10 years old, guess what? That's the kid's life. Now you get to learn what it's like to lose a kid after 10 years of loving it, and then get pissed off at the world. Get pissed. That's what the fucking world is, man. I just don't understand this. Like, everyone acts like entitled to, like, I'm entitled to never feeling pain or loss in my life. Fuck off. You deserve more then.
You know what? Thank you for bringing that perspective to the show. That's what I want on this show. That is exactly what this show is after, right there, is that heartfelt perspective. And I have to say, I 100% agree with your perspective. Being a parent, having had one child die of a miscarriage, I have siblings who have had an abortion, and I know what they've gone through afterwards, and so many other things. I lost my cousin because he had a health defect that they didn't expect him to live as long as he did. He lived to his 40s. He passed away last year.
I was almost gonna have a. I was about to be a father and everything, and then the mother had a misabortion, where we didn't even know that for about a week the child was just sitting in her belly, dead.
Yeah.
We didn't know what happened. And there was a good 2 weeks of my life where I was like, I'm gonna be a father, and this is gonna happen. And I was pro-abortion at first. I wanted her to get an abortion. I was a fucking asshole. I was a piece of shit, man. It's normal for a lot of guys. They lose their mind, and I lost my mind. I didn't want to be a parent, and then luckily I was very happy. Like I would have torn myself up for the rest of my life. I was very happy that she didn't do that. And I came around to the fact that I was going to be a father, whether we were going to be together or not. And then it was about 2 weeks later that we found out we lost the baby. It's not a fun time, you know. I can kind of relate to somebody losing that opportunity of being a parent, and it's not a great time. And I can tell you this: if the doctor had said your baby's going to come out fine, but it has 5 years to live,
you just love it that much more for 5 years.
Yeah, I would kill anyone who would try to kill it.
I'm absolutely with you there.
You know?
So, with that, this has been one hell of a show today. Some of the topics don't seem like they quite fit, but you know what? The show always seems to work out that way anyway. So, here we are, just over an hour. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your perspective and your viewpoint.
Thank you for having me, NumbedSkull. This shit's awesome. You should get, oh, you're going to try to get Antoine next.
Antoine's next Thursday. I guess I'm having you guys on one at a time on Thursdays.
Ah, right on. Okay. I'll tell you now that Lo-Fi can even attest to this. Brockus is the worst of us. He's the most boring. He's awful. He's terrible.
We should make a group debate. I've been toiling over other ideas that this show has spawned in my head. I would like to, get a couple of them out a little more structured and maybe toss them off to some other people to work on. Because I notice a lot of creators up and coming, I'd like to start tossing out some ideas to people when they come to my head. Not always great ideas, but they're ideas. All right, with that, let's see if we can't move a few things around and close this show down for the day, and I will be back and see you all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for our Friday show. That's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Well, who do you have coming up next, Num? Do you want to plug some people that you got coming up next?
This week is pretty empty. I had you and I had Tailed Feature on Tuesday. I'm working on sending out invites to start filling up the show, so on the weekends I send out a bunch of invites to people all over the place and then try to fill up what I can of the show and then fit in more people where I can during the week.
Well, everybody in the chat, you heard that. Hit up NumbedSkull. He needs guests, and I'll hit you up again, NumbedSkull, if I get some
absolutely
time.
Do me all a favor. I need to start getting into the habit of saying this. Let's get this closed window. I want y'all to hit that share button for me. Hit that like button, and don't forget to hit that little bell.
Yeah, and Reaper, hit up Numbed on Twitter. Sounds like he wants to be on.
Oh, yeah, Reaper, I've had him on a couple of times. He's always welcome on. There you go, right, Reaper. I'll have you on tomorrow. I think I've had just about everybody in chat on at least once. Oh, Regine needs to come on, I think, then. So, with that, let's get some closing music out of here. Where did I put that button?
Fuck, it sucks.